Sure, here's a short story based on the title they called Earthlings cute. Until one lifted a tank in the classic HFY, humanity. Yeah. Style. They called Earthlings cute. Until one lifted a tank. The first time the Galactic Union met humans, the consensus was nearly unanimous: adorable. Small, soft-skinned, awkwardly bipedal, with disproportionately large eyes and expressive faces. Compared to the towering Threxians or the crystalline elegance of the Zaltu, humans seemed underwhelming. A diplomatic expedition was dispatched to Earth. The mission logs would later be preserved in the Galactic Archives under re-evaluation of Species 341, Homo sapiens. Captain TRXX of the Threxian Dominion, 8 feet of chitinous muscle and bristling weapons, was unimpressed when they landed near a human military base. They seem fragile, he noted, watching 2 human soldiers sparring in what they called a gym. They laughed, sweating and panting, bare arms covered in odd markings called tattoos. Their bodies were corded with muscle, but nothing TRXX considered serious. He dismissed them as ornamental. When the humans offered a demonstration of strength, TRXX agreed, mostly for amusement. They led the aliens to an open field where a massive Terran war machine, a decommissioned M1 Abrams tank, sat idle. "This is old tech," said Sergeant Alvarez, grinning, "but it'll do." TRXX chittered with amusement. "You wish to demonstrate your strength with a vehicle?" Alvarez shook her head. "Nah, he will." She gestured toward Private Eli Morgan, a wiry man barely taller than her shoulder, with a friendly smile and an unimpressive physique. TRXX leaned toward his lieutenant. "It is a jest." It wasn't. Eli took a breath, stretched his arms, and, without assistance, without machinery, grabbed the side of the 60-ton tank, braced his legs, and with a shout, lifted it. Not high, maybe a few inches, but it was enough. Dust exploded beneath his boots. Metal groaned. The tank rose. TRXX's internal translator failed for 0.7 seconds due to the chorus of untranslatable alien shock noises from the delegation. When Eli dropped the tank with a thud, the ground trembled. He casually rolled his shoulders. "Bit heavier than I remembered," he said. "You guys got anything bigger?" TRXX stared. "How?" Alvarez clapped Eli on the back. "Human adrenaline. Crazy stuff. Kicks in during stress. You should see what he does when he's mad." That evening, the Galactic Union updated the threat assessment for humans. From low risk/diplomatically valuable to extreme risk/approach with caution, do not call cute. Want a sequel or a different tone? Humorous, epic, horror-tinged? Absolutely. Here's the next part of the story. Chapter 2. Cute was the last thing they ever said. After the tank incident, Earth was no longer considered a harmless curiosity. But the real surprise came not from strength, it came from behavior. Humans didn't just lift tanks. They laughed while doing it. They trained to do more. And worst of all, they helped each other get stronger. The Galactic Union sent an emergency council to discuss the implications. Dr. Ilris of the Zalta presented a new theory. "They are not a predator species," she said. "They are worse. They are social predators. They bond. They organize. They adapt." Ambassador TRXX, now much paler than before, added quietly, "And they enjoy it." To better understand the threat, the Union launched a long-term observation mission. Undercover agents were embedded among human populations. One such agent, Sharn of the Alari, disguised himself as a university student. Within weeks, Sharn began sending strange reports. "They run, for fun, in packs. They call it marathons. They willingly submerge themselves in icy water to test their will. I witnessed a human volunteer to be sprayed with an incapacitating chemical, just to see if he could handle it. He called it a pepper spray challenge." Another message read. "One suffered a bone fracture. She resetted herself with a stick and a belt, then jogged home. I do not understand these creatures." But it was the final message that changed everything. "I have discovered their sacred place. They call it the gym. It is a temple of pain and transformation. They suffer willingly here, and encourage each other to suffer more. They smile while doing it. I fear. I am starting to enjoy it too." After that, Sharn stopped checking in. His last transmission included a blurry photo of him flexing in front of a mirror, and the caption, "Leg day, bro." The Galactic Union was shaken. Earth was quietly placed under observation lockdown. The term cute was stricken from all official descriptions. It was replaced by a warning. Do not provoke. Do not underestimate. If encountered, offer snacks and slowly back away. But some in the Union, especially the younger species, weren't convinced. They're still not that scary, they said. They're small, emotional, and look at their memes. Those voices went quiet after the Mars incident. And that is another story. Want the Mars incident next? Or a whole top 5 HFY moments style series? Perfect. Let's dive into the next part. Chapter 3, The Mars Incident. Official records classify the Mars incident as a containment failure during cooperative military exercises. Unofficially, it was the day the Galactic Union truly understood the phrase, humanity, yeah. It began innocently enough, a joint training operation between the Union Defense Corps and Earth's elite units. Mars was chosen for its low gravity and isolated environment. The goal, test interspecies combat coordination in simulated urban warfare. The problem, the simulation wasn't ready for humans. The Zarn tactical officers were confident. They'd analyzed human physiology, tactics, and psychology. They expected cooperation, discipline, maybe a little unpredictability. What they didn't expect was Corporal Rin Jackson. Day 2 of the simulation, a Zarn drone malfunctioned and began firing live rounds instead of stunners. One Union officer was injured, a Cleth tactician severely burned. Protocol was clear, abort mission, retreat to base. But Ron looked up from tending the wounded and muttered, "Nah." He stood. He charged. No armor, no backup, just grit, rage, and a wrench he'd picked up 2 days earlier to fix a food dispenser. In full view of 4 galactic species, he sprinted across open terrain, dodging plasma bolts, vaulted over rubble, slammed the drone with the wrench twice, and then punched it until it stopped moving. Silence, dust, the smell of burnt ozone. Then he turned to the alien observers, covered in soot and shrapnel, blood running down one temple, and said, "Y'all good?" The footage went viral in 19 systems within hours. Later interviews revealed that Ren was running on 2 hours of sleep, 3 energy drinks, and something called a hot pocket. The Zarn replaced all training manuals with a single slide that read, "If a human begins running toward the enemy without orders, let them." Run was awarded a Galactic Valor Star. His response? "Neat. Can I get that in sticker form?" After the Mars incident, the Galactic Union began reclassifying humanity, not as a military threat, but as an environmental hazard. Because humans didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like storms. Unpredictable, unrelenting, and somehow always smiling afterward. Want to continue with a peek into how other species try to train like humans? Or maybe the first time humans encountered a real galactic war? Alright, let's keep this going. Time for the aliens to try and understand the madness. Chapter 4, When Aliens Tried to Train Like Humans. Following the Mars incident, there was a question echoing through the Galactic Union's military academies. Can we become like them? Not in form, of course. Humans were still the strange, squishy anomalies of the galaxy, but in spirit, in that relentless, chaotic, completely unhinged drive, they wanted to understand it, harness it, survive it. So began Project Iron Mind. Volunteers were chosen from across several species, a Zarn tactician, a Cleth plasma trooper, 2 Threxian warlords, and an Alari strategist. They were sent to Earth. Their mission, complete a standard human military training cycle. They thought it would be easy. Day 1, warm-up. They arrived at 0500. The human instructor, a grizzled sergeant named Riley, had them jogging before introductions were finished. "Where is the real training?" the Threxians asked. "This is just cardio." 30 minutes later, one collapsed. The others begged to stop. Riley handed them water and smiled. That was the warm-up. Day 3, Hell Week. Sleep-deprived, soaked, cold, covered in mud, forced to carry logs and each other for miles. The Alari, telepathic and logical, began frantically transmitting distress calls. They laugh while doing this, he broadcasted. The pain brings them closer. The Threxian warlord wept quietly into his rations. One Zarn tried to desert. A human corporal caught him and convinced him to stay, with a hug, a protein bar, and an inspirational speech about earning your scars. The Zarn later got the speech tattooed on his thorax. Day 7, leg day. No one walked straight after. Final week, graduation. Only 2 aliens made it through, the Cleth and the Zarn. They stood proudly beside their human teammates, scarred, bruised, and stronger than they'd ever been. When asked what they had learned, the Zarn said, "Humans do not conquer pain. They invite it in for dinner, give it a nickname, and ask if it wants to run a marathon." The Cleth added, "They break their limits and then ask for seconds." The Union officially ended Project Iron Mind, deeming it too dangerous to morale. Unofficially, dozens of species started forming underground human-style fitness clubs. One was found chanting "no pain, no gain" in a storage unit on Tau Ceti 4 while bench-pressing engine parts. Up next, want to go galactic scale? Maybe the war that needed Earth, where humanity shows up last to the biggest galactic battle and ends it in 5 minutes? Let's go big, Galactic War. Late entry, full HFY energy. Chapter 5, The War That Needed Earth. The war had been raging for years. The Karnathi swarm, a hive-mind species of living biomachines, swept through star systems like wildfire. Planets fell, fleets vanished, civilizations crumbled under the weight of a force that didn't sleep, didn't speak, and didn't stop. The Galactic Union tried everything: diplomacy, brute force, tactical retreats. Nothing worked. Humanity had been watching, quietly, cautiously. Earth hadn't joined the Union officially yet, too young, too chaotic, too unpredictable. They'd only just figured out interstellar travel. And then the Karnathi reached the galactic core. One by one, Union worlds fell. Desperate, the Council sent a message to Earth. "We need help, anything you can offer." Humanity replied with just 2 words. On it. What the Union didn't realize was this: humanity hadn't been idle. They'd been studying. Not the enemy. The battlefield. They arrived 2 weeks later. No majestic fleets, no grand speeches, just 6 dreadnoughts, black as void, bristling with weapons no Union species recognized. Their lead ship bore a single name, painted in bold, ancient Terran script. "Your mom." The Karnathi attacked immediately. The humans didn't retreat, they didn't hesitate. They laughed. Within seconds, every human ship unleashed a level of firepower the galaxy hadn't seen since the extinction of the Star Titans. EMP bursts designed to disrupt hive signals, sonic weapons calibrated to rupture exoskeletons, nanomines that sang lullabies, then exploded. And then came the drop pods. Humans, in powered armor, landing inside enemy vessels. Fighting by hand, in vacuum, with flamethrowers, and chainsaws, and a baseball bat signed by someone named Barry Bonds. One human was spotted surfing a Karnathi cruiser's wing with a plasma rifle in each hand, screaming, "Witness me." Within 5 minutes, the Karnathi swarm, the unstoppable force, retreated. Within 10, they began cannibalizing their own ships in panic. Within 15, the war was over. No one could believe it. When asked for an explanation, General Carter of Earth said, "You guys were fighting to survive. We fought because someone tried to wipe out Taco Tuesdays." The Galactic Union convened a special session that month. Earth was granted full membership. Every military fleet across known space was ordered to carry at least 1 human advisor, or a full battalion, if they hoped to survive future wars. And the phrase "the humans are coming" became both a warning and a prayer. Up for more? I could dive into how Earth's culture starts spreading, the meme plague, or galactic diplomacy, why every council meeting now starts with coffee and sarcasm. Yes, let's keep this fire rolling. Chapter 6, The Meme Plague. After the war, the galaxy expected Earth to bring military tech, tactical brilliance, maybe even peacekeeping forces. What they didn't expect was memes. It started slow. A Terran diplomat sent a message to the Zarn ambassador. It contained a picture of a cat, fat, orange, sitting in a box, with the caption, "If I fits, I sits." The Czarn ambassador didn't understand. So he showed it to a Zalto interpreter, who didn't understand either. So they showed it to a human, who laughed so hard they fell out of their seat and said, "It's just funny, man." The Czarn were confused, but curious. They requested more. The next message? A human in armor, holding a kitten, with the caption, "Peace was never an option." And just like that, it began. The meme plague. Memes flooded the datasphere. A Vanri death priest asked why the humans had so many grumpy animals with text. A Terran intern sent him a 14-page PowerPoint titled, "The Cultural Significance of the Shiba Inu and Why Wow, Much Danger, is Hilarious." By the end of the week, the Vanri temple walls were covered in Doge images and the high priest began ending sermons with such transcendence. Very afterlife. Entire star systems got caught in meme warfare. Diplomatic arguments were now won by who posted the best reaction image. Treaties were signed with gifts. A Czarn fleet once stood down from conflict because a human admiral replied to a threat with the sacred phrase, "You mad, bro?" The Ilari, once revered as the wisest race in the galaxy, fell hardest. Their minds were perfectly wired for pattern recognition and layered meaning. They were born to meme. One Ilari philosopher went viral after composing a 200-slide meme thesis titled, "SpongeBob as a Reflection of Post-War Existential Collapse." The Galactic Union, horrified, tried to regulate the spread, but it was too late. Memes had become a currency of influence, a form of diplomacy, a weapon. Some species resisted, until they found out humans had memes for that, too. Now, in the Galactic Council, memes are an official part of negotiations. You want trade rights? Bring a dank meme. You want war? Expect a meme offensive first. You want peace? Better start with "This is fine." The meme plague never stopped. It just evolved. As did humanity's reputation, not just as warriors, but as chaotic cultural superweapons. Coming next, we could do Chapter 7, Galactic Diplomacy, Earth Style, or Chapter 8, The Human Pet Crisis, Why Everyone Wants to Adopt a Terran. You in?